I am creating the bio-agrotech that will change the world. I call it the miracle of miniaturization.
This is the top secret project you've been working on?
Oh no, Lindy. Lindy! There you are! You're okay!
The Miniature Wife, starring Elizabeth Banks and Matthew Macfadyen, follows a scientist who accidentally shrinks his wife, transforming their domestic life into a battle for supremacy. The show offers a darkly comedic insight into what happens when a relationship is pushed to its limits. We got a chance to talk to Elizabeth, Matthew, and the rest of the cast to talk about this series and what they would like to shrink in their lives. Let's take a look.
Hi, yes. Hi, welcome creators.
Oh, thank you.
What made you guys want to create this project?
Well, it was based on a short story that just kind of blew our minds. So in the short story, the husband does miniaturize the wife. We're doing that. But it also just had us think about power dynamics in relationships. And especially, literally, when someone is regular sized and someone else is 6 inches tall. So we love this idea of the metaphor becomes real. It also tonally just jumped off the page at us. It was the War of the Roses. It was also it inspired us to go back to those great studio comedies from the 80s and 90s, just like Romancing the Stone and Big and Home Alone. So all of that, I was like, I would watch that show.
How was it watching Elizabeth Banks interact with those props? Was it really weird? What was it like?
It was hilarious. I mean, we did everything possible to make this feel as grounded as possible for her so that she felt like she was 6 inches tall. So yeah, when we brought in, I saw it with this little lipstick behind us here. When we brought her the lipstick on the set, it was just she just laughed every time. She's like, okay, I'm in now. I know how to do this.
So what can you tease to for the audience what the show's about?
The show is about a miniature wife. It's about a scientist who accidentally shrinks his wife, and it kind of looks at the struggle in relationship dynamics, about how sometimes you can feel small in a relationship, and this takes it to a very literal level, which is super absurd, super fun. My character works in the lab, where we created the technology to shrink, to miniaturize, and I think for all of us, in the show that we can resonate with is kind of where do we fit in the world, and how do we fend for ourselves?
You have a lot of scenes with Matthew, so how was working with him?
I loved working with him, and it was also such a big dream come true. I adore him as the classic Mr. Darcy in Pride and Prejudice. I had to fangirl one day. I was like, Matthew, I watch Pride and Prejudice every single year. I'm like, this is, and he was very gracious about it. I was afraid of coming off as a little too creepy. Yeah, but he's so fun. He's such an actor's actor, super generous, super kind. I absolutely loved working with him.
If you're going to shrink one thing in real life, what would you shrink?
If I could shrink one thing in real life, I would shrink. Oh my God, there's so many things that you could shrink.
Just pick one.
Just pick one. Okay, I would shrink. You know what? We're sending people to the moon. I want to shrink us a spaceship.
All right, we're sinking spaceships.
Yeah, I want tiny astronauts circling my living room.
The Miniature Wife is based on a short story by the same name by Manuel Gonzalez. Beautiful short story, and it's about this couple whose egos have been bumping up against each other until everything kind of hits the fan when ultimately the wife is shrunk down to 6 inches.
And you play their daughter, so how is it working with that and being being the child in that dynamic?
Character-wise, she's a mini version of her parents. There's a lot of self-loathing, but she's very clever, and she's trying to find a way out of this circle.
If you could shrink one thing in real life, what would you shrink?
My cat.
So if you were to shrink anything in real life, what would you shrink?
I'd probably shrink my doggy because I love him, and then I could like have him with me all the time.
A lot of people picked animals and fur and everything. How is it?
Picking spouses. I would also shrink my husband.
So you didn't take this as a cautionary tale?
No.
You're like, I'm taking notes. What, like, when you were on set, what was like the most like crazy thing that you saw, like with all like the like?
Of all of the shrunken things. God, I mean, I loved Elizabeth next to like the massive Hershey's bar. That was really exciting to me as a chocolate fiend.
RPW, Richard Paul Ware, as they call him, is a physicist and a maniacal lover. And, the kind of combination you really want on a Tinder profile. He's a lot of fun to play. He's kind of crazy. And yeah, it's a wild ride.
How's working with Matthew?
Oh, he's a ball. No, he's amazing. Like, he's so talented, so down to earth. He's one of those really nice people. I know, it's so tiring. Like, give us a break.
Please. If you could shrink anything in real life, what would you shrink?
Nuclear weapons.
Yeah, that was good. That was
Right on down.
a good one.
Thanks.
And then being on set, how was it seeing like the large images and things?
It's too funny. Like, I go to set and be like, is this my job? This is so funny. So, yeah.
I play Lindy McMichael Littlejohn in The Miniature Wife, which is a series about examining a couple with some serious marital problems, the biggest of which is that the wife is 6 inches tall.
That's a tough sell.
Yeah, it becomes a big problem, and the race to sort of make her regular sized again, and what it does to the dynamics in the relationship.
No, and if you could shrink anything in real life, what would you shrink?
Trump's ego.
Hell yeah, let's go. And then how's working with Matthew?
Matthew McFadden, and I'll get in trouble because I've had some great co-stars, is my favorite co-star of all time. Yeah. But don't tell everyone else.
So if you could shrink anything in real life, what would you shrink?
I don't know. I'd shrink junkets and put them in a cupboard. That's what I'd do.
Lindy, you are my forever person.
What am I supposed to do with that? Wear it as a crown?
Hey, I'm Wrong Fu.
My name is Sophia Rosinski.
I'm Motorbike Ben Lay.
Hi, I'm Zoe Lister-Jones, and you've just been buzzed.